Good morning. It is Monday, y'all. Wonderful Monday. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, where we're having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. My name is Yanitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? I'm trying to grab a pen, but I just put lotion on, so I apparently can't pick one up. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you had a great Easter Sunday. Hope you were safe. Please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. And if you missed us on Friday, please make sure you go to my page and watch it. And if your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel where they can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. Good morning. Good morning, and how do you do? So, today, y'all, let me share this to one place. I have to share this. You guys, please make sure you share because I absolutely cannot do this without you. So if you could, please make sure you share the show because sharing is caring. And then we're going to get right into it. Great morning, Miss Valerie. Yeah, I was up till 1 o'clock, chilling, reading a book. Great morning. Like I didn't have nothing to do. Like I didn't have to wake up in 6 hours. But that's okay. Let's get started, y'all, with the quote of the day. And I love this because let me read the quote first. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. And that's by Albert Einstein. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. And I think that we sometimes get so caught up that we have to be so smart to do something. We have to be so great to do something. You just need to be curious that you don't want to stay where you are and that this is not the end. What we talked about Friday, that this will not be my life statement. No, this will not be. And so I have no special talents. I'm only passionately curious. And if you watch, T.D. Jakes used to say this. He said his mother read him this poem and he can recite it. And it says, you have all the things that the greatest of men have had: 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 legs, 2 ears, a mouth, 2 eyes, and a mind. So you have everything that the greatest of men have had. It's what you do with it that makes the difference. So I love that. And then combine with I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious by Albert Einstein. And if we stay curious and if we stay looking, you never know what we are going to find. So if you guys are ready to get this Monday morning started, because it's going to be a great day. So, all right. So here's the thought of the day. Excuse me. I need to put it up here so I can see it. So we have talked about before that you're a small business owner. We've talked about taking ownership of yourself. We have talked about just a whole lot of things, right? And hopefully it's something that you can use. And if not, please leave it for someone else or take what you need and leave the rest. But today we're going to talk about you need to have an agenda. I know sometimes people say that when she has a hidden agenda or they have a hidden agenda when it comes to so-and-so, and you've got to be careful what their agenda is. Let's talk about that we need to have an agenda. So there's 3 things, if you've ever been in a business meeting, that you need to discuss when you have a meeting. And if you don't have an agenda, you talk about everything and there is no guidance to your meeting. There is no guidance to what you talk about. You were just in there chit-chatting. And then how many of you guys have ever been in a meeting like, really? I came to a meeting for this? Like, what did we even talk about? So we need an agenda for ourselves, because when we do this self-care journey, when we're on this road, when we're thinking all the thoughts, eventually we're going to have some structure to it. Like if you're just beginning on your journey, welcome. I'm excited. Allow your thoughts to come and go, and allow yourself to feel them, whatever they may be. But eventually you're going to need some structure to the meeting of you. If you're going to be a small business owner of yourself, you're going to need an agenda. You're going to need to know what you're doing and where you're going. In the beginning, and now listen, as we break this agenda down, please understand, I am all the above. Sometimes I have a meeting with myself and I just chit-chat away. And it's just me checking in with me. But then there are times when I need to have a meeting with myself and there needs to be an agenda present. I need to know some things. Good morning, Dee. Happy Monday. So I think we all need to have an agenda when it comes to ourselves on what we are willing to accept, what we're not willing to accept, what's going on and what's not going on. So here's, just like any other business meeting, there's 3 things on the agenda. You have your old business, your new business, and your open discussion, right? So the old business, when I have a meeting with myself, and I have the agenda, because I just don't want it to be me. I want to be focused, because remember, I want to be focused, determined, and make sure I'm persevering. And as I begin to develop my agenda, because in the beginning, you're just a free-for-all, and that's okay, because you need to think your thoughts and allow them to come. But as you grow and move forward, you need to have an agenda with that thing, okay? And so the first one is to handle old business. So if I'm doing, because self-care is gangster, if I'm doing my check-in every month, every quarter, once a week, whenever that may be, I need to discuss some things with myself. Old business. JoJo, when we were here last week, you were worried about this. Is that been taken care of? When we were here last quarter, you were worried about this. Has that been taken care of? When we were here last month, this was going on, and you were concerned about this. Has that been handled? So we got to handle the old business, because if you do not, it will get in the way of new business. So once I've discovered that I have to have an agenda, and then there are days, of course, where I will not have one, and then it's a free will where I think whatever thought and I allow it to come. But on those days where I'm really doing my self-check-in and I am trying to make sure that I'm constantly moving forward and doing the right thing, then I need to have an agenda for my meeting with myself. So the first one is old business. The second one is new business. All right, now that I have resolved this thing, what is the new thing that we're working on? Because sometimes we get, I ain't gonna say confused, but we get bogged down by focusing on all the old and never finishing it so that we can move on to the new. I'm guilty of that. So guilty of that. So what is the new business, JoJo? What, now that you've gotten over the fear of that, now that you've gotten over the hurt, because we talked about forgiveness on Friday, right? Once we've gotten over the forgiveness, we've gotten over the hurt, what is our new business? What is it that we're working on now? So every quarter, every month, whenever you do your check-in, what's new with JoJo? What is it that you desire to work on? What is it that you want to do? Because if I don't know, I can't tell it to anyone else. If I don't know, I cannot communicate it effectively to any friend. I can't communicate it to any job. I won't be able to communicate it to my children. And that is how sometimes families don't move forward, because they've not checked in with each other, or they've not had a family meeting, or if they have, there's been no agenda. There's been a lot of yelling and cussing and screaming, but there has been no answer and development. There's been no Q&A so that we can get to our next steps. So you need to have an agenda. The first one is you got to handle your old business. The second one is you got to handle your new business. Okay? What is the new business of you? And now that you have discovered what it is, the new thing that you want to work on, or whatever it is that you're moving forward with that month, that quarter, whatever it may be, now you're ready to move to the next thing. So if this is the small business of JoJo, and this is the small business of me, I need to have an agenda of how I'm going to operate. Because if I can't effectively communicate what it is that I need, then no one will know. And then I can't get mad at them for not knowing because I wasn't communicating it correctly. So when we take ownership of ourselves and we start running ourselves as a small business, and we have the 8 departments to the small business of us, we got to have an agenda so that we are focused, we're determined, and we know that we're going to be focused and patient, and we're going to persevere through it. So you got to handle your old business. You got to handle your new business. And then you got to leave yourself open for discussion. Those are 3 items that need to be on your agenda when you have a meeting with yourself. And so the open discussion is where you have the opportunity to be honest with yourself. And I think a lot of us don't want to be honest with ourselves, because if we're honest with ourselves, as I always say, then that means you have to take responsibility for what you did or did not do. And some of us are not willing to do that. If you downplay, here's something that I've learned the hard way. If you downplay your responsibility in the thing, it doesn't show respect to the person, place, or thing. So if you downplay, I think because at the end of the day, it comes down that we all have to take responsibility for ourselves and for our actions. And we downplay it and don't own it, then it frustrates everything else around it. So part of your growth process is absolutely being, like we talked about that, being honest with yourself, looking yourself in the mirror, and being able to say, hey, JoJo, that was messed up. You shouldn't have did that. And then being able to do something about that, with the understanding that sometimes things absolutely cannot be corrected. So in your growth process, and this is what I've learned because I've messed up many a friendship and many a relationship where I may have hurt a friend, place, a thing, job, and I had to take ownership of what I have done. And in that taking ownership, that meant I also forfeited or gave up my right to person, place, a thing, or a job. Because that's part of taking responsibility. Because what is true is what's consistent. What is consistent is what is true. What continues to happen every day, or what is a pattern, is what's true. Your words are life. Your actions are your words. Period. Your actions are what you think. So if you thought a thing, you did a thing that was intentional, and what is consistent is what is true. Okay? And so when you get to the open discussion part of your meeting with yourself, let's look at what are you consistently doing. And if you're consistently doing something that may not serve you, then you need to have that conversation with yourself. Or if you're consistently doing something that hurts a person, place, a thing, then you may need to be honest with yourself about your responsibility of it. But if you don't take ownership of yourself, if you don't realize that you're a small business with 8 departments that need to run efficiently and all together, and when you first begin on this journey, they're all not going to run together because they're all broken right now. And so as you start to work on your mental department, your emotional department, your physical department, whatever department you choose to start working on, because you got to do one department at a time, because we're developing operating systems for ourselves. And then the more you do this, the more you have that check-in, the more you do that self-care, the more you have those talks with yourself, whether it's every week, whether it's every quarter, every month. You need to have an agenda. You You need to have an agenda and think about where it is that you want to go, how you're going to get there, and what you're going to accomplish when you get there. So with any meeting, there are 3 things that come on your agenda. There is old business, there's new business, and then there's open discussion. So the old business is you checking in with yourself and saying, hey, JoJo, you know, this was something that we kept talking about. Was this resolved? Because if we don't resolve the issue, please understand the issue will continue, okay? It won't go anywhere until you address it. It's just not. And when we talked about that a lot, that if we could just pray, Lord, make a miracle, make it happen. And the miracle is you woke up this morning, and you are the miracle that you're seeking to do the action of the answer. So he gave you the miracle. You're it. You just got to do the work of it. So the old business is taking time to look at what may be unresolved. And this is definitely part of your growth process, because, you know, all of your departments may not be up and running, and you are making them run department by department. Please set up an agenda for each one of them. JoJo, the old business in your physical department was this. The new business in your mental department is this. The open discussion in your emotional department is this. You need to have an agenda when dealing with yourself. And that's not a bad thing. Because I'm sure we've all heard it. Well, you know, they have a hidden agenda. And some people do. And that's okay. What you need to establish is your own agenda and how you're going to operate. What is important to you? What is vital to your well-being? For me, peace of mind is priceless. At any point, I feel like my peace of mind is going to be overrun and taken down. I will make the necessary steps to ensure that that does not happen. Because I have done the work to develop certain standards. Remember, we're honoring other people's boundaries. I have now learned to communicate effectively. So I know that I'm communicating the right thing to the right person. More importantly, that I'm communicating the right thing to me. Because when we compromise, and you're compromising to things that are detrimental to who you are, it makes the situation harder. It makes it more stressful for you. It doesn't make it more stressful for your job. No. It doesn't make it more stressful for your friendship, or it doesn't make it more stressful for your relationship, your boo thing, side piece, or whatever. It doesn't make it more stressful for them. It makes it more stressful for you, because you are ultimately the only one making the ultimate sacrifice of peace, of happiness, of joy. And y'all remember, I got my whole life together when I figured out the difference between happiness and joy, and that I'm not seeking happiness. It is the joy that I'm seeking. Please make sure, if you ain't watched that video, go back and watch that bit.ly/joy and happiness. We learn the difference between those two. So I'm not seeking happiness. I want joy. And that's a totally different animal than just saying I want to be happy. So on this wonderful Monday morning, if we're the small business owner of us, right, and we're taking ownership of all things, whatever your name is, all things JoJo, all things Louise, all things Janmitra, I need to have an agenda. And when you're first starting out on this journey, it's hard to have one because none of your departments work efficiently. Your mental, your emotional, your physical, your financial, there's 8 departments to you. None of you work efficiently because you haven't done the work to make sure that they do. And once you do that, now you can once you have your policies and procedures in place on how you're going to operate, now you can set an agenda. Now you know you can check in with yourself and know what's going on. Because in that, so we deal with the old business, we dealt with the new business, and then we have the open discussion. And that's where we decide where we want to go. How are we feeling? What are we thinking? How did that happen? Where did that come from? And that's where your dreams come in. That's where this is what I'm working on my mindset. That's where all the extras come in. If you're new on this journey, You may not necessarily need an agenda yet because it may be too structured for you, because you need the freedom of your thoughts to come, and you need to be able to take responsibility for your actions and take responsibility for your non-actions. Sometimes you got to do that. We got to take responsibility for our non-actions. Because if we don't take responsibility for our non-action, we will assume that what we're doing is correct. At some point, you got to check yourself. Right? Yes, ma'am. I sure will. I sure will. Thank you for asking, Miss Valerie. I will list the eight departments of you, because you are a small business, okay? You are a small business. Period. And until you learn to operate as so, right? That's why we're always depleted. We always out of money. We always out of energy. We always tired. We back and forth. And my grandpa said, you from pillar to post, child. You need to have an operating system. You need to have policies and procedures. You need a compliance department. You need an HR department. You need a financial department. And so that means you got to take responsibility. So in the beginning, if you're new to this journey, welcome. Don't allow the agenda to discourage you. Like, JoJo, heck, I'm just learning to think. Please welcome the thoughts, boo. Allow them to come. Take responsibility for them, and take responsibility for the lack of action, or the action that was taken that was incorrect. And then take a look at what has been consistent, because what is consistent is what is true. If I consistently hurt someone, that's what's true. If I consistently talk about a person, I'm consistently gossiping. That's true. If I'm consistently eating after 7, 8, 9, 10, eating apple pie at 11 o'clock, that's what's true. It ain't at that point, my intentions don't matter, because what's my 3 things? I always ask myself, what is my intent? What is my intention? And why am I saying yes? My intent is what was true, because that is what was consistent. I intended to eat that pie, so I ate it. That's true. You can't say, I intended to go here and you sat still. Then your intention is true. I intended to work on this thing and you didn't. Your intent is true. What is consistent is what is true. If my intent is to respect you, then I must respect you. And then what becomes consistent is what's true. What is your intent? What is your intention? And why are you saying yes? And some people they don't want to take that much of responsibility. They want to be grown, but they don't want to be all the way grown. You ever seen grown folk that ain't all the way grown? What is consistent is what is true. So on this wonderful Monday, can we develop an agenda for if we're going to be true to this? And if you guys would still like to join the Self-Care is Gangster, please go to bit.ly/gangstercare. It is a 5-day guided journey. We just ended on Friday, was our last day. So if you joined it, please let me know your thoughts. I would greatly appreciate it. How did you like it? What did you think about it? If you would like to join, you can still do so. bit.ly/gangstercare. And you can join the 5-day journey where we're intentional about things and we're working through things. Because what is consistent is what is true. And so we are consistently showing up for ourselves as a small business owner, and we have an agenda. I have an agenda. What is my old business? What is my new business? And open discussion. And if you're really good, we can keep on going and talk about them action items. You ever been in a meeting and they said, these are the action items going forward and this is who they're assigned to. And then you assign them to whatever department needs it. Okay, JoJo, your money was lacking here, so the financial department of you was responsible for this. Well, you've been down in the dumps lately, so your mental health department needs to handle this. You need an agenda. Old business, new business, open discussion. If you want to get really good with it, you need to get down into the action items and assign them to the departments. But if you're new on this journey, please don't stress yourself. Just allow the thoughts to come because you're just getting started. And so you've got to develop your departments first before you can put them in order. And when you become a well-oiled machine, when something shows up that's not right and you try your best to fit it into your operating system, your SOP, your statement, your policies, your SOW, your statement of work, how you're going to work. And when you try to put things in there and you're trying your best to find somewhere for this person, place, or thing to fit, and it doesn't line up to any of your departments, then you've got to, as the CEO of you, you've got to be willing to step up and say, from this point, I cannot go and you cannot come. I have tried my best to allow this to become part of my operating system when it is not. Because if I'm a small business, your friends and family, your co-workers, your job, they are also small businesses. And they have the right to say how they're operating just as well as you do. So I have to line you up against. So before I start doing business with any person, place, thing, body, friend, man, woman, girl, job, I've got to have a meeting with myself. And on the agenda is new opportunities. Is this going to line up with my departments? Does this fall in line with my statement of work? Is this part of my truth? Is this part of my joy, not my happiness? And you've got to be willing and open to have that conversation with yourself. And if it does not line up, then you've got to be willing and open with yourself to understand that this is not part of your operating system because it's throwing. You ever been, I've worked in the mills. Did y'all know I used to be the plant manager of a sewing plant? And when one part of production went down, everything went down because everybody else could not produce if this one part is down. So all your departments are vital. Don't downplay any of your greatness and who you are down because someone else or some job or some friend doesn't recognize the importance of all of your departments. They are all essential to your well-being. And it is up to you to know that. So you need an agenda. If you have your agenda, then you're going to know right off the bat what ain't, if it's working or not. So we dealt with our old business, our new business, our open discussion. And then we're really good. We're going to take down them action items, our follow-ups. When we come back next week, next month, next quarter, this is what we're going to discuss. Do we approve? You know, in those meetings we said, I approve of these meeting minutes. Can I get someone to approve my meeting minutes? So on this wonderful Monday morning, hope you had an amazing weekend. Hope you're ready to get this Monday started. I know I am. I have no special talent. I'm only passionately curious, and that is by Albert Einstein. I love that. You have all the things that the greatest of men have had. You have. Remember we talked about you assume that you were powerless when you were powerful. That's that. And you need to have an agenda. Old business, new business, and open discussion. So on this wonderful Monday, thank you, Ms. Bella. If she's still on here for reminding me, I will post the 8 departments of the small business of you. Thank you, Miss Valley. You approve. I will post the eight departments of you. And make sure that all of your departments are working. Have a meeting with yourself today and check in. Hey, Joe, this ain't working. What is the old business like? And some of our old business is so old, we tired of talking about it ourselves. The old business, JoJo, is that, again, we dealing with this same problem. Can you please handle it? Can management handle something? Well, boo, you are management. And then you have your new business. These are the things that we're excited about, what we're moving forward. And our open discussion is where we allow ourselves free thought and free thinking. And if you're just getting started, don't worry about having an agenda for yourself. Allow your thoughts to come, because you're learning you. You don't know yet what needs to be on your agenda. You don't know. All you got right now is old business that's so overwhelming, right? So allow the thoughts to come. If you're new on this journey, welcome. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. You have arrived at the exact, precise, wonderful moment. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. I want you to be safe. Please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family don't have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel where they can binge watch all the Fearless Morning shows over there. Today, y'all, you need to have an agenda. You need to handle your old business, your new business, and then have open discussions with yourself. And now we need to have action items. Who's going to assign what? This, JoJo, next time we meet, you will have an answer for this. And what better time than a Monday morning than to check in with yourself? Whether you want to have that meeting with yourself every month, every week, every quarter. But I want you to be serious about yourself and your growth, because if I don't take me seriously, nobody else will. Let's look at what is consistent and what is true, because what is consistent is what is true. Okay? Period. And that you can't explain that away. You can't negotiate. Your buts won't save you on that. I know I did that, but this is what, because your intent equaled your action. Your thought became an action, and it was consistent. So buts don't matter. So you got to be able to have that real conversation with yourself. Now we can move forward. Now you can start to have that agenda. Now you can start developing your policies and procedures for your operating system of yourself. I am Waddell Incorporated, Waddell LLC. I am a partnership. I am an entity of my own. And if I cannot run me efficiently or correctly, forget efficiently, let's just start with running it the right way, then I can't do business with anybody else, because they're not going to know what kind of business I am. They're not going to know my character. They're not going to know my morals, they're not going to know anything about me, because I've yet to define anything about me. So whatever your business is, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a partnership, if you're incorporated, if you're an S-Corp, whatever you are for yourself, and you get to give yourself that own title, you need to run yourself efficiently. Let's just get all the departments up and running first. How about that? So on this wonderful Monday, please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. If you missed the show on Joy and Happiness, bit.ly/joy and happiness, please make sure you know the difference, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck somewhere for a minute, okay? If you still want to join the Self-Care is Gangster 5-Day Guided Journey, where every morning at 6 a.m. you will get a prompt, and please, your time is your own, so you can sit and do that as you will whenever you have the free time and quietness. Is bit.ly/gangster care. Gangster care. Okay? Or you could text 5 keys to 33777 and be added to the email list for Self-Care is Gangster. And your first email will come out today. It is 5 days. Because we're not playing with this. What is consistent is what is true. If I'm consistently showing up for myself, that's true. If I'm consistently checking in with myself, the things that I need and want, that becomes true. You need an agenda. Old business, new business, and open discussion. All right. If you would like to read any of my books, go to Amazon.com. Fearless Woman Born to Give Thanks is 1. Transition to Freedom is 2. We do have Sisters Keepers t-shirts and all other Be Fearless and Fearless Morning Show apparel over at livepastcrazy.com. So please make sure you check it out over there. And more importantly, please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. I absolutely cannot do this without any of you guys. I can't be my sister's keeper without my sisters. I can't be my brother's keeper without my brother. And I'm a firm believer that if you have learned something, now you can share it with your sister or your brother, right? And once you share it with your sister or your brother, then we can change our family. Now we're changing our community, and we will change the world. Good morning, Miss Lowry. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So on this wonderful Monday, know that you need to have an agenda when you have a meeting with yourself. Old business, new business, open discussion. And if you're really good, we're going to talk about them action items and who gets assigned what. So welcome to your journey. I'm excited for you. And if you still would like to join that Self-Care is Gangster guided journey, I will post it as well. Okay, I will post all those links. And thank you, Miss Valley, for the reminder. I will post the 8 departments of the small business of you, because you are a small business. And I will post a link to that, because that show was 2 days. We did that show in 2 days, because there's 8 departments to the small business of you. And so what better day than a Monday to have a meeting to get started on how you are going to operate this week. So I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that. Please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. I will be revamping the podcast. I've had one for a little over a year. So I am looking to redo that. So just be patient. But if you'd like to catch up, you can find wherever podcasts are found. It is the Live Past Crazy show, of course. So you can check it out over there. All right, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. And I will see you guys here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.